What's up, guys? Welcome to the seventh video in learning Laravel. My name is QDS Dan and you guys are watching my channel Korawood. Alright, so in the previous video we have seen how we're gonna pass the parameter here in with our route. So here we have a route and we have passed the optional parameter, and we have seen the login, user ID, username, and we have passed the parameter here, and you're gonna see here we have a default parameter as a Korawood. Alright, so now before we do anything else, you guys go ahead. If you don't see this screen, you guys go ahead in the search, and you can type the CMD, go into command prompt and navigate to your WAMP or XAMPP. If you have a XAMPP, you can go to XAMPP htdocs, or if you got a WAMP, you can go to WAMP64 www Laravel first Laravel. So you can do that with the CD double dot to go back, or you can do CD to change the red directory and go to WAMP64. Alright, so and if you are here, you can start your Laravel PHP artisan serve. So we're gonna type PHP artisan serve. So the PHP artisan serve is started, and you can go ahead and HTTP 127.0.0.1 and the port is 8000, and we can start our Laravel, which our Laravel has already started. Okay, so the Laravel is started, and now we are ready. And as I said in previous video, we have done a login, and we have done, say for example, 100, which was my ID, and if I press enter, and the Korai would come in. Why the Korai would come in? Because the Korai would here, that's in our default parameter, routing parameter, because the parameter route here, which is a static method, the get here is accepts the parameter here. So we can give say for example the URI login, and we can pass the parameter, which is the ID and the username. Alright, so now what happens if they say, for example, as I said, you can put a Korawood. What happens if we're gonna put a program like this, and we put a nice login page, and we want the user ID and the username, and some Mr. XYZ or Joe Blow gonna come here and put quite the opposite. So instead of the ID, Mr. Joe Blow is gonna put up, for example, lion, and instead of the name, Joe Blow is gonna put a 10,000 or whatever the number. And here, if you look in here, the login page, the URI accepts the lion and accepts this number here, the scary number. And if you look in both of them, scary, and both these scary ones be very bad for our program, because here if you put a, say for example, Yazdani, and if you put a Yazdani, now you don't know which is which. If you're in login page and you're supposed to accept the number, numeric number, and you're supposed to accept character, and instead of character I put a 40, and you're going to look here, the program accepts this one pretty much fine. You have no problem with this one. This is bad. This is extremely bad, because you guys should not allow anyone to put anything whatever he or she wants in your program. If you put a null, and we're gonna come here and hit the refresh, nothing's gonna happen, because it accepts perfectly fine. We have to put a constraint limit. We have to put a constraint. Or you can put a limit, in other words. Okay, how do we gonna put a limit? We can put a, with the help of RE, or we can say regular expression. So regular expression, our RE, is very popular pattern matching. The Python gonna use this, C++ has it, C++ has it, say Java has it, regular matching, PHP has it, and PHP and Python uses the regular expression all the time. So what is the regular expression? Say for example, if you don't want anyone to come in, say for example, you have a program, you don't want anyone to come and use the say you don't want them to use the numeric, you can put a to Z, or you can put a to Z. Why I put it lower here? Because you're telling the PHP that look, I want the people to come and put a Yazdani, or here I want the people to come and put uppercase Yazdani. So in either way I don't have any problem. Our you can tell that you can put the first is upper and the rest is lowercase. By all means, no problem. Our say for example, if you want the users to come and put a numerics, you can put a and numerics ones as well. So with the numerics, if you have a, say for example, ID, you can put your ID like, say for example, 0 to 9. You can put a 0 to 9, 0. So now you're telling effectively that look, I want but I have no problem with any character, just like here, but I don't want the character here, but I want the, say for example, I don't want the character here, which is Yazdani. I want the numeric here, and I want a character here. So we can do that. We can do it with the help of regular expression. Okay, so instead of say for example, we're going to come here and create our own route. We're going to put a route, and we can put a get, and here we can put a login, our we can put a register, our something, then we can put a function, and we're going to return something. So we're going to put a return, and what I'm going to return here, so for example, if this one is login, that there is the register, this registration page. For example, we can put a login, or we can put a, if I come and comment this one, because I don't want it to go with here. So if I put a login, and if I put a username, for example, now I'm going to put a username name, and here now you're going to see the username, and here we have a function, and we put a username. Now what we're going to return, we want to see our username, whatever we type on top. So now we have put it login, we put a username, and we're going to see the username here in our, we have a parameter, we can put the username equal to, say for example, null. We don't want anyone username, and we're going to return, which we're going to see our whatever username we're going to put it. Alright, so we're going to go in here, and we're going to get rid of all, and we're going to put a login. So, and if you look in here, login, if I put Yazdani, you're going to see I've seen my returning my name, Yazdani. As you've seen before, if I put a 500, I'm going to see 500 because it's returning whatever I'm going to put it here. But this is very bad, because this is not very good, because now we're putting we don't want the number here. Say, if you know what I mean, we don't want any number. We want the username as a string. We want the character or something like that. As I said before, that we can use these guys here. With the help of regular expression, we can limit this one. We're gonna put a full stop on this one. Alright, so now how do we gonna do this? How we gonna limit this? Say for example, now this is a disaster here, because we are returning the 500 here, and if you want to put a echo something good, if you want to put say number, you can put a say nice message here. So now how we gonna limit this one? You guys can limit with where. If you look in here, we can put a where. You can put at the end. If you want, guys, wanna put a say the where gonna take two parameter here. The first one is that which one you guys we want the username, and the second one the regular expression. So here you guys, if you remove this one, just put an arrow, and you can put a where you can end with a semicolon, and you can put your username. So we're gonna put a user name. You can do username, and then what we're gonna do is that we're gonna put our regular expression, and don't forget to put this plus, because without this one is gonna give you error. So we put a to Z and A to Z. So here we are doing exactly like that, with a little bit of exception. So here we are applying the regular expression. We are saying, look, I want the username here, but I have a username null, and I'm going to return that one. Here I just want a username, and I want this one only characters. I don't want the numbers. Okay, so if you gonna control save, and if you do this, it's not going to be found. Why? Because now effectively we have put a full stop to the numbers. So now we want, say for example, only characters. Say for example, yes, Dani, our we want say Koraya would, our you, me, whatever, if it has a spelling number. So we can put a Korayo. Say for example, we can put a Korayo wood. We can put a hello world. So we can put anything but not a number. We can put a hello world. We can put hello world, and you're going to see here the hello world showing up. We can put anything, but as soon as you guys try to be smart and put a number, it's not going to work, because now we put a full stop. So that's what we're going to do. We can put a where, and you can put a, say for example, here, and the regular expression here. You can do exactly the similar ones with for example, we can copy this one and we can put it here with the numerics. Say for example, now we can put a, say, ID. All you guys needs to do is just put an ID here. So you can put a user ID, or you can put a simple ID. You can put a user ID, and you can put a user ID here, user ID, and here your you can put a user ID, user ID, and here you can put a user ID, not a user result. We can put a user ID, and here where it says that A to Z, you can put a 0 to 9. That's it, easy peasy. Now we can put a, say for example, you can put a register, or you can put a use login, because that one's a login. You can put a, say for example, about, for example, about page or about, then you can put a user ID. So we're going to try about. We're going to come here and we say we're going to put a about, and if you look in here, too few function, that's fine, because I think Laravel expects us to put one more. By all means, we're going to put one more, and as soon as it receives the second one parameter, Laravel is going to be happy. Why Laravel give us error? Because Laravel here we are putting two, we are not putting one. Say for example, if you have a product and product ID, product and product ID, which we're going to start soon, and you're going to see this is going to be very extremely important. Product ID, and here you can put a product ID, and here you can put a product ID. You don't want anything, just a product ID. So now we're going to put a product, and if you come here and put a product, and if you guys don't want to put it the second one, you're going to get a very scary error message, because exactly one expected. When you get this sort of message, it says that too few arguments to function. It means that there is a you have a function, but you're passing you want Laravel to accept 2, but you're passing 1. That's what I'm not happy. So Laravel is not very happy. So if you put a, say for example, number, say for example 200, and that's a product 200, you can put a nice message here. Say your the product is, the product number is, you can put a nice message here, the product number is, and you're going to see here the product number is 200, or you can add 0. So now, but if you try to put a, say for example, you put a Sony as a character, you're not going anywhere, because effectively we have put a full stop for anyone to put anything else except our desired one. You guys can secure your application with this one, with the regular expression. So now you're going to be asking me, Mr. Yazdani, this is pretty much fine, but how about if you combine this one, combine the rest? You're going to ask me, you're going to say, look, this is pretty much fine because there's only one. Or what happens if you have a login username and we have an ID? By all means, so I'm gonna put a 1 here, and I'm gonna put inside, I'm gonna put a user ID, I'm gonna put a user ID, and now I have a username, and I'm in the front I'm gonna put a user ID. So user ID. Now I have a user ID and I have a username. Okay, so now I'm gonna remove this one, and what I'm gonna return the ID and the username. So I'm gonna put a return, and I'm gonna put the user ID is, I'm gonna put a user ID dot user ID, and I'm gonna put one more, and the username is, I'm gonna put a username. Alright, so now they put a user ID. Now we have chaining this together, and whatever we have learned, we have a user ID, we have a username, now we have a parameter user ID and username. So now we put the user ID is user ID, and the username is the username. You can put one more, and you can put just to chain it together, and you can put an end. Okay, so now here what are we going to do at the where, because now we have two, we have like array of this chaining this. We can fix this as well. So now we're going to remove this where it says where, and we're going to put a bracket because it looks like it's array. So we're going to put a user ID, and you guys, if you guys not familiar with this double with equal and greater than, is the same as before. So we're going to put exactly this guy here, and we're going to copy and we're going to put it here the same way. It just look like a little bit higgly piggly, but don't worry about that. And we put a username, and we put it here with the username. And if you look in here, we're going to put a two bracket inside the username, and we put a to Z or A to Z. Simple. So now effectively we have put a full stop. So now our login page, we're going to accept the ID, and the user ID is here, and the username, and the username is going to here. We're going to accept the uppercase, lowercase, and then we're going to accept the uppercase, no problem. So now we're going to go ahead and log in user ID and username. So now we're going to go and put a login. We're going to put a login, say our user ID is for 100, and our username is, for example, Yazdani. You can put your own name. So now we put a Yazdani. We're going to see why there is no problem, why it's not accepting, because we have put a plus, and we didn't put a plus here because we need a plus. If you don't put a plus, as I said, it's not going to work. So we're going to check again. We put a login, user ID, username, and we have a user ID and username here. There is a 2. We are returning this one, user ID and username. Then you make sure this one's matching this guy's here. They're all matching, and we put a 0 to 9, and we put a plus, and we put a username, and we put a to Z and A to Z plus. Okay, so if you're gonna go and refresh, the user ID is 100 and the username is Yazdani. You can try something else. Say for example, I'm gonna put a 7000, for example. The ID is 7000 and the name is Joe Biden. You can put it this way, Joe Biden, no problem. Anything you guys gonna put it. Say for example, is if you that ID and the name is Donald Trump, and the name is Donald Trump, no problem. What happens if I try to be smart, and if I put say my name, and I put the ID the other way around? Look, we have put an end to this. We have put an end like this. If you look in here, we are not going to accept anything that we have specified. We have specified that we want the ID here, we want the ID here, and we want the character here, the string, which is this guy, which is here. So with the help of the expression, regular expression, our RE, we have solved our problem. From now on, we are not going to let anyone come in and play with our application, with our whatever we're making. So if you put a, say for example 300, and if you have a product and your product, say for example a box, and you can put it this way, instead of username you can put a product. Alright, so now we can put a named route, and that's going to be our discussion for the next video. There is something called named route, if you guys haven't heard, because route is the backbone of the Laravel. So if you guys want to be expert in Laravel, you guys need to understand everything about routes, because routes is very, very important. And keep in mind that the route sits between the controller and the view. Did I mention controller? Yes, route is sitting between the view, which is this guy here, and the controller, because it routes, it sends whatever you're getting from the view to the controller, or controller vice versa, from the controller to the view. So in order to understand the routes, is very, very important. You guys need to understand the route, how we're going to do the route so far, and how we used our pages with the route, our URI, how we use the parameter here, and how we using here the parameter inside the function. And now we have learned how we're going to use the regular expression to constrain our limit, the request, whatever the users requesting, so the users can muck around with our applications. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If you guys have any question or comment, leave in the comment box. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video, and bye.